We were taught that stars are massive balls of gas burning somewhere at the edge of the universe, that planets are just spheres flying through space, that the sky above is an endless cosmos, cold and indifferent. But one day you start noticing inconsistencies. Why don't stars change shape over thousands of years? Why does the moon always look exactly the same, like a perfectly copied disk? Why does astrology, this ancient system of stellar signs, often work more precisely than many scientific models? Maybe it's because none of it is what it seems. Imagine you're not in space. You're inside a set, as if what's above you isn't the universe, but a screen, an interface, a video game where space isn't a physical realm but a visual layer. Like in a computer RPG, the sky is part of the level design. Stars, planets, even the sun, they're markers, tools to help the player navigate time, rhythms, and phases. In such a model, the moon isn't Earth's satellite. It's the pendulum of reality, counting out the phases. Planets aren't stones. They're cursor points. Celestial bodies don't emit. They reveal. They show where you are in the storyline. Because in the Matrix, what matters is not what you see, but when you see it. In this version, astrology isn't an attempt to read the magic of stars. It's a method to read the level code. Like a game HUD, a head-up display. You don't see the developers, but you see where the plot is going. When Venus approaches the Sun, the topic of relationships activates. When Saturn aspects your birth point, lessons, boundaries, and growth begin. And it's not because Saturn radiates anything. It's because that's how the program is built. You're not looking at the sky. You're reading the scene's code. And the more attentively you read it, the more accurately you catch transition points. You don't have to believe in magic. You can laugh at stardust and tabloid horoscopes. But try answering this honestly. Why do millions of people born around the same dates go through similar lessons, rhythms, and crises, even if they've never studied astrology? Why is it that sometimes just opening a weekly horoscope gives you exactly the direction you needed, as if someone knew you'd read it on that day? If the Matrix is a simulation and the sky is an interface, the answer gets simpler. It's not about the stars or the planets themselves, it's about synchronization. The code and your path align, not causally, but through resonance. Like the way your mood sometimes syncs with the music in your headphones. This is what Carl Jung called synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence without visible connection. You enter this world at the moment when the stage is set a certain way. Light, season, events, all form your birth barcode. Date, time, and place. That's your seed. Like in random world generation, your initial vector, the point from which your entire personality unfolds, your tendencies, your reaction speed, your sense of meaning. And the planets? They just point to where the tension is, where activation happens, where a cycle is ending. They don't affect, they signal. Like track markers, like moon phases on an ancient calendar. It's as if the system itself is giving you signs. Now, a turn. Here, a review. There, a chance. And you can ignore it. But if you're attentive, you'll feel how the scene plays with you, you'll sense it. It's not just a coincidence. It's an entry point into a new timeline. That's why horoscopes work, even if it's all an illusion. Because it's an illusion, controlled, scripted, looped. And if you start reading the clues, you begin to step outside the lines. You stop being a participant and become a reader of the code. A player who starts remembering that he's inside a game. They write, "Today may bring emotional swings. Try not to make hasty decisions." You read it, smile, think, sure, universal phrasing. That fits everyone. And then the day passes, and you catch yourself. You really did snap. And you wonder, coincidence? Or did they know something? Let's unpack it. General horoscopes don't work because someone's peeking into your fate. They work because the matrix of cycles is shared. There are two layers of impact. The psychological rhyme, the Barnum effect. The human mind loves to recognize itself in reflections. If I tell you, you are strong but you often doubt yourself inside, you'll agree. because it's familiar to almost everyone. That's the psychological rhyme. And yes, it works. But that's only the first layer. Biorhythms and social programs. People born in the same season are embedded into the same natural code. Winterborn, more focused, cautious, frugal. Summerborn, active, bright, inclined to open exchange. That's biological firmware written into the body and rhythms. To this are added social programs. The same holidays in school, academic cycles, family traditions. They create similar behavioral patterns. And each year, these patterns go through a new phase. Horoscopes aren't fortune-telling. They're timing analysis. Like someone is tracking where in the overall simulation the tension is focused. Who is entering a phase of liberation? Who's facing trust issues? Who's starting a lesson in honesty? You read the horoscope, and even if it's not about you and it resonates. And if it doesn't, your mind still uses it as a direction of action, as if the words launch a command. If this is my chance, I'll take it. That's what self-fulfilling prophecies are. You believed, and your attention shifted the branch of reality. You chose the script where it became true. But there's a third layer, the one statistics can't explain. Sometimes a text written for no one in particular hits you straight in the heart, a phrase, as if dictated to you. Coincidences that are too precise. That's resonance with an active node of the matrix. A moment when everything inside the world aligns like a synchronized mechanism. You read, and the code activates, because you're already at that level of the game. And the words simply open the door you were about to enter anyway. Imagine you're not just a person but a complex system with a program that activates upon entry. Not entry into a room, not even into life, but entry into the game. And like any game, you have default settings, place of appearance, basic landscape, environmental traits, and the main timestamp of entry, date, hours, minutes, and location on the planet. These become your initialization vector, a barcode that sets your starting configuration, as if the matrix takes a snapshot in that moment, where Saturn is, what's lit on the stage of the world, light, season, temperature, collective mood, it all gets factored in. And under these parameters you load in. With this barcode you enter the game, already with tendencies toward speed or depth, risk or order, leadership or dissolution. It's not fate, it's a base firmware. You can rewrite it. But like any system, the original drivers will quietly influence its behavior. Astrology isn't about predicting fate. It's the decoding of input parameters, like reading the manual for your own biocode. And in a world where everything is synchronized, that entry point determines what global scenarios you'll resonate with most. When your nodes get activated, when the lesson arrives, when the choice, when the launch, like someone placed markers. Here's your turning point. Here you'll remember who you are. Here you can exit the looping route. Your birth is the launch of a unique pattern. You are an entry point into an infinite game where the sky is the interface and the planets are chapter switches. Astrology isn't about believing or not. It's about navigation. As if you discovered that the walls in the game are not just a backdrop, but a signal map. Imagine a play with no lighting, no changing scenery, no sound effects, no cueing lights. The same setting, at a wedding, a funeral, or a moment of explosion. Hard to navigate, isn't it? That's what planets are for. If you look from the matrix's perspective, they don't control, they highlight. They're beacons, timers, visual phase switches. You see Mars on the rise, on the scene, pressure, conflict, impulse. The world speeds up, like someone hit the Act Now button. But the planet doesn't trigger aggression. It simply marks where the fire energy is active in the code. This isn't causality, it's synchronization. The matrix doesn't command from the sky. It reflects, so you can track where in the episode you are. And if you're a character, astrology is the decorator's guide. So why are horoscopes sometimes so accurate? Because you live in rhythms. Your body responds to the season. Your mood reads the collective atmosphere. Your attention intuitively finds the doors that are open now. And the planets? Just visual markers hinting at what's happening in the scene's code. like buttons on a control panel. Saturn, test. Jupiter, expansion. Mars, movement. Moon, body and dreams. Retro Mercury, glitches in communication. You don't have to believe. But if you observe, you start seeing the pattern. And at some point you realize it's not magic. It's mechanics. Like someone deliberately left markers to guide you. So you'd have a reference point when the winds howl and everything feels meaningless. If everything is an illusion, if stars are just symbols in the sky, if the sky is an interface, then astrology isn't magic. It's navigation through the code. It won't tell you who you must be. It won't assign your fate. It won't predict exactly what will happen. But it can tell you what themes are active, what forces are gaining strength, where in the matrix portals are flaring up. In daily life, you feel it even without a horoscope. Sometimes things shift. People disappear. Old programs crash. Something blocks you from doing the usual. In another part of life, things align effortlessly. You feel the phase. You feel the transition. And that's where astrology becomes the language of the environment, like reading a map. Not because you're forced to turn, but because you see there's a turn there. You read the signals. You're in the game, but you understand you're not the character. You're the player who can see the code. And the stars no longer control you. They're like pop-up hints, like a manual for reality. If you have the courage to take off the sleep goggles and see the interface of the sky, thank you for being here with me on this channel. Thank you for your awareness, for your thoughts, for your silence, and your depth, for being who you are. I wish you a beautiful evening, a clear sky, and an inner light that doesn't depend on the moon's phase. Take care of yourself. Blessings to all. And see you in the next videos. Goodbye.